to kind of see these guys take initiative, seeking and demanding action. Shout out to the Bucks. George Hill, who's one of my former teammates who I know very well, and it's just Giannis obviously refusing. He's like, I'm not going out there. The whole
Sterling Brown. Sterling Brown released a story today about his police brutality run-in with the Milwaukee PD, and that's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that most of this is all predicated on your experience, right? Like, what you've been through, how much it affects you. Like, I mean, it's nuts that we have to like continue to see all of this, especially for I feel for the younger generation, like the youth. Like, I mean, everybody, the generation after us, and the generation after them. I mean, you call it what you want, but they are so smart and like so intelligent, and I feel like all of this is like really hindering, their growth. Like, instead of uplifting these people, uplifting these kids, we gotta explain to them. We gotta explain what racism is. We gotta explain, what bigotry is. We gotta explain what that you don't have equal rights. Like, we gotta explain that when when you're born, you're already behind the 8 ball. Like, that's what's crazy, because coming from where I grew up, luckily I grew up with 1989, 1988, 89 was like baby boom. So it was a bunch of us, and the parents were involved and all that stuff. And, we were taught certain things. Like, I think, everything that's happening is something that we either saw or we were taught. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like, history repeats itself. It's learned behavior. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think this stuff just pops up out of anywhere. I think it's the stuff that has been taught over the years and years and years. And that's why, everyone says, we need change. We definitely need change. And, it's good that, my peers and my colleagues, and I'm part of the generation that's like actually taking the stand. You know what I mean? To see those guys, say, hey, all right, this ain't about us. This is about everybody else. It just shows that, although we make all this money, we are, still grounded, still, humble human beings. And it's good to be represented that way. So, but it's a big, especially with everything that we have as a league going on with, because we play, obviously for, to make a stance, but, for financial reasons too, moving forward. I mean, like, it's a lot on the line. So for us to kind of put all that on hold to say, hey, man, like, we ain't playing, it says a lot.
Yeah, and I think, real quick, and I think, the younger generation, you were talking about, that we have to teach, not even your generation, before, younger than that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're not afraid at the same time. They like, we ain't standing for this. It's like, we front lining. We on the front line, like, what's up? This ain't happening no more. So,
right.
At the same time, we want to learn, and the learning in the fire, but we want to, I'm extremely proud of like I said, the younger generation from my standpoint, because this is, Rachel Nichols said something today, like, years back, if anything like this took place, we lose deals, probably, all type of things like that. Like, it was like forbidden. And it's kind of like, I don't want to use, I wish a company would, but if a company, a Nike or somebody endorsing one of these athletes that has chosen to not play, LeBron or whatever, they would be crucified.
We got the leverage.
You see what I'm saying?
And
like,
we understand that.
That's not, so it's great to see, but it's just like you say, we have a long way to go. And, I always, I had this conversation with my mom, she's like, that's all great. We got to, but we got to do the other stuff and get people out. I understand that. And that makes sense, but you can't skip steps. And what I mean by that is, like, if we don't do what's going on right now, like not playing games and letting these people know we're not doing that, you can't get to the next step. In my opinion, like, you can't skip steps. Like, I think this needs to happen to wake people up and, like, okay, these boys not playing.
It's real. Yeah, it's real.
And then now that kind of gets everybody on board to the next step, So which brings to the most important part. The commercial about 60% of people voting, but we got to do it. It can't be, it has to be in the 90s. And I'm talking about 98%. 100%, but let's be real with that. You know what I'm saying? Let me say this real quick. We can't argue. You can't be mad about what's going on if you didn't contribute your vote. You see what I'm saying? Like, I've had a teammate who's like, man, I'm be honest with you, I didn't vote, but he was one of the dudes that was madder than anybody, in the group. But I'm like, but you didn't vote. Yeah, and I get it. We feel like our vote doesn't matter, but even if our vote doesn't matter and something happens, we still got to do it, because what if it does matter?
Right.
What if it does matter?
We got to really start holding each other accountable, and really educating ourselves. Like,
gotta have that conversation. Be like, hey, bro, you registered to vote?
Yeah.
All right. It might be like, bro, chill. No, seriously, like, you registered to vote. That those conversations have to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't really go on social media and stuff, and I'm not really into all of that. Like, I post pictures of my son or golf, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I'm not really I would call it an activist per se, but I do my part with conversations, because I play a lot of golf, so most of my friends are white guys. You know what I mean? So we have those conversations, and it's cool to hear, because they always ask me, like, what do you think about this? And it's like, I want to know what you think. And obviously,
what do you think about this first?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, with them talking to me, obviously they, it's it can get weird, but it's good to be uncomfortable and have those conversations. So maybe if they learn something from me, then when they have a talk with their buddies, we can kind of spread the word. Like, don't be afraid. Like, one thing I don't want to happen is just like, we teach, these young kids how to hate, because it's people. I'm angry at people right now. Like, it's people in general. Negativity and stupidity are running the country, running the world right now. Like, negativity and stupidity. Every time something happens to someone, it's like people are preying on their downfall. Like, this whole Paul George thing, like a petition for him to play in Europe. Like, this dude, I mean, he's a really good player. Like, he just had a bad week. You know what I mean? Exactly. He just had a bad week.
I wonder what they're saying now.
Bingo. And people are crucifying him. You know what I mean? Like, that's the world we live in, instead of, uplifting. Like, you're only as strong as your weakest link, regardless if you're related or not. If I don't work directly with you, you can be doing God knows what. I may not even know you, but if you're a terrible person, like, you teaching somebody else, like, you have your network. So you got to take it upon yourself to be, as positive as possible. Just do the right thing. I mean, stay out of the way. Like, I mean, that's kind of why, like, I've kind of gone into this, like, little shell. Like, when I first got in the league, I was all over social media. It was fun. Like, I had the Bazemore thing in the Bay. Like, I did giveaways. I did all this stuff, man. But, like, now I like to do, a lot more things behind the scenes, and, like, really have my my hands in the dirt, and talk to people, get in the communities, push my foundation. And these are things, like, I have one of my mottos of my foundation is, I want to teach kids how to live, stay focused in the world of chaos, because there's always going to be something going on. Like, after the election, we may be tripping about gas prices being too high or something. Like, there's always going to be something, going on. Like, can you stay focused and help grow the world around you? Like, can you do that? Can you find your purpose and pursue it? My purpose is to teach. And that's what I learned through COVID. Like, I feel like I'm a teacher. Like, I've been through so much. I've seen both sides of each spectrum, growing up in, California, North Carolina, not being drafted, extending a career longer than anybody thought. I've been on, teams that went 2-12, and I've been on 60-win teams in the NBA. Like, I've seen so much, and I feel like, I need to share my experience so people can try to learn from it. So, I'm doing my part in that, and trying, and, my wife's Caucasian. So, like, I've seen both sides of that too. And I'm really trying to, like, make the world a better place. Like, try to help people see both sides.